Thunder, lightning.
As far away as possible.
Kind of like the rocket launch today.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, you're on.
All right, there we go.
Welcome, everyone. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we go further, I'd just like to take a moment and ask for a moment of silence for Joanne Simmons, who passed away last week. She was a beloved teacher here at Greenville who taught for over 36 years as a social study teacher, and I think almost every single person has had children, either knew her personally or had children who she was a teacher for. It was very unexpected, and I think that it's a profound loss for all of us here in the community. So please take a moment of silence. Thank you very much. So I'd like to have a motion to approve the agenda for the business meeting of August 29th, 2022. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we have open forum, which is the 30-minute open forum is the time the board sets aside to hear in-person comments from the public. Comments may also be emailed in advance of the meeting prior to 4 p.m. on the date of the meeting and state in the email if you would like your correspondence read out loud to Daphne Pearson, District Clerk at pearsond@greenvillecsd.org. This is an opportunity for residents to voice general concerns and compliments, especially about items on the agenda. However, this is not the time to register complaints about specific individuals or about items that should be addressed confidentially through the proper channels. All comments shall be addressed to the district clerk and shall be limited to not more than 5 minutes per board policy 2180. Please note that members of the board may not be able to directly respond to citizens concerned during the public open forum. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Deb. Yes, just there is a gray button, and if you press it down, blue light comes on. Got it. So if you would just tell everyone your name.
Okay. Hi, ladies and gentlemen of the board. My name is Debbie Von Atzingen, and I'm a member of the Community Partners of Greenville. If you went to the concerts this summer, I'm the concert lady. But I have some exciting news that Tracy knows, and soon planning board members will know. But Community Partners, together with the town of Greenville, with the blessing of the town board, is pursuing a grant, a revitalization grant that the state of New York is offering for the first time for small and rural towns. A little bit of history: they have previously given a grant called the Downtown Revitalization Initiative. This is the 6th year of a 10-year offering, but it was something that small towns could never ever apply for. We didn't really have a chance. But this July, they offered something called New York Forward. It's a smaller grant, and it's offered per region. There are 10 regions in the state of New York. We are in the Capital District region, and there are about 7 counties in that, so it's very competitive. But it's for small rural towns. They will give 2 awards. Basically, it's $4.5 million, and then the other $500,000 are for planning and consultants and things like that. Or they can also divide and give it 3 ways. One $4.5 million grant, and the other 2 a little smaller, 2.3. Either way, this would be transformative for the town of Greenville, piggybacking on what you have done with the district and what you're planning to do. It will offer people some incentive to spruce up their buildings. We can connect the old downtown area. It's going to go about 3/4 of a mile east and west on 81, and then from New Street all the way up to about Tractor Supply is what we're calling the Greenville Business District. And it would tie it in with streetscapes and continued lampposts and sidewalks. It would give some big transformative projects and a lot of little smaller projects to the town. And Tracy is on the committee. We have a small committee. We've been meeting publicly. Our next meeting, I think, is September 9th at 6:30 in Prevost Hall. We've taken public surveys at the concerts, on the community, the Greenville, Greene County page, and we also have it on the Greenville parents page now here too. So we just wanted to inform you of that. Going forward, projects that are green would really be, helpful in our description of what we're going to be doing. Your campus is just wonderful, and you're a big part of how we've shown how Greenville can advance. We just wanted to let you know. Any questions?
Do you see a specific role for the school board / school administration in the application process, or what, thanks for letting us know, but what can we do beyond that?
A letter of support would be wonderful. Because it's a 20-page application, but letters of support do not count. So that would be wonderful.
Oh, above and beyond the 20 pages, they don't count.
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
I mean, I think you're right. There's some very interesting things that might set us apart that we would be part of. For example, the FFA program, I think, is a big piece. So that, I think, would be really good.
Exactly. They're looking for towns, a way that we can connect towns historically, culturally, economically. It could be, we could go any way. We're putting the projects together now. We're still in the planning stage. The deadline is for submission is September 23rd. We have a rough draft submission about like the 9th or something like that. It came very quickly, and the turnaround is very quick. And I see it personally as an advantage for Greenville, because it's going to catch all these small towns off guard.
Well, didn't Martin Van Buren go to the precursor to Ellis? Or there was some national figure that went to what was not Ellis, but something different then, and that's the town, not necessarily the district. One of the signs has. We got to go back to the historian. I'm sure you're talking to Mr. Treater.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I thought
he
Van
would
Buren
know.
was
But I think, didn't we have, there was a free academy here very early in Greenville history. And I
Is that the one
thought,
that is currently at the library? I think there's a
it might
plaque
be.
that I've read.
Yeah, I've read it somewhere. I thought it was somewhere on 32. I'll keep my eye open. But
Well, I'll leave some information here if anybody wants to look at it, and you can call myself or contact Tracy or Barbara Walter, or the town. Thank you.
Thank you.
Could I ask a quick follow-up?
Yeah.
Just if we are to consider a letter of support, and I don't want to get ahead of anything, I don't know what the process for doing that would be, but I think if we do, it would be helpful to have more information, whatever you could share about the projects you're thinking of. In other words, I think that if we're going to consider a letter of support, if we get there, it would be stronger if we can tie it specifically what you're going to be proposing instead of something generic.
Well, actually, and we can get you that when we're starting to put those together, but from what I have gleaned, letters of support should really be more heartfelt than a laundry list of projects. Like, how is this going to impact the employees and the school district itself? You know, you have improved your grounds. Don't you want to see your surrounding town reflect the same thing that you're showing? So I think that's what we're looking for, more heartfelt connections. But I'll be happy to get you the list, and I'm sure you'll be hearing from me again shortly in September. Anything else? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Okay. All right, I'm going to move us on to the action items. Then I need a motion to approve the personnel agenda.
A second. Duncan, thank you.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion to approve the type 2 secret resolution. I'm going to read the subject. So, approve the type 2 secret resolution, whereas the Board of Education of the Greenville Central School District is considering to undertake a project at Alice Elementary School which will include, but not be limited to, the renovation or enlargement of existing classrooms and academic spaces, restoration of existing roof areas, addition of a new gym unit addition not to exceed 4,000 square feet of new space, reconstruction for new bathroom, guidance suite relocation, masonry restoration, door and hardware replacement, replacement of existing heating boilers with new propane boilers, including new underground tank, replacement of existing hot water heater, replacement of existing kitchen grease trap, replacement of existing wiring, and site development related to reconstruction and additional work, and also work at the middle school, high school, which will include, but not be limited to, the renovation of the existing art suite and expansion of the art suite with an addition not to exceed 1,500 square feet of new space, restoration of existing roof areas, masonry restoration, abatement and replacement of existing flooring, replacement of existing air handling units in the auditorium and cafeteria, correction of air balancing issue in the metal shop, which includes new exhaust fan and controls, site development related to reconstruction and addition work, and any associated work with any of the above listed scope items, the project.
Eric, a second. Angela, thank you.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I need a motion to approve the resolution allowing Greenville Central School District to piggyback off an originating contract between Coxsackie Athens Central School District and Coxsackie Transport, Inc. to transport a Greenville student to the Center for Spectrum Services during the 22-23 school year.
Eric, Duncan, thank you.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion to approve the transportation agreement between the Greenville Central School District and Barbara Rivetti for providing transportation to and from Westmere Elementary School in Albany, New York, from August 4th through August 12th.
Eric, Jim, thank you.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion to approve the contract between Greenville Central School District and Gallo Construction Corp. In the amount of $164,780 for the middle school, high school field drainage.
Eric, need a second? Need a second?
I'll second for discussion.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Wait. All right, keep your hands up, please. I don't have everybody. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, 5. Opposed? Jay, which way did you vote? I'm sorry.
Or do you want to abstain?
I'll support, but I was slow on the trigger to ask a question, which I don't think will affect the vote if I can. It's just we're going to, you know what, it's not important. I will vote in favor.
Okay. I need a motion to adopt the code of conduct.
Duncan, Angela, thank you.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion to approve the 22-23 athletic handbook.
Eric and Duncan?
Any discussion?
Are there changes, substantial changes?
The code of conduct had the red line, they both had a red line.
No
No,
substantial
There weren't
changes.
substantial-
I apologize for not
Yes.
reviewing it, but
Denise is here. She wants to answer for the athletic handbook.
oh, Denise?
Sorry.
Yes, the only real significant changes other than dates and personnel and that kind of stuff were to the EPP.
Were what?
And that was all highlighted in yellow.
To the athletic, the APP.
Placement.
portion of it.
EPP, okay, thank you. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion to approve the adult breakfast and lunch prices for 22-23.
Eric, Duncan?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I need a motion to approve the bid awards in the amount of $462.50 to Auctions International.
Eric? Angela, Kim?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, let's see. Now I'd like to ask if there is any input for items to be discussed at a future meeting. Duncan?
I really wanted to talk to a couple of people before I brought this up, but I'd like to bring up a resolution at the next meeting to name the new pavilion in honor of Mrs. Simmons, based on everything I've seen. I reached out to Casey, hoping to talk and make sure the GFA would be on board with that. I think she might be on vacation. Her email said she wouldn't be answering, but she did look at it off and on, she said. But I didn't get an answer. So pending that, I wanted to have her feel. I don't want to get ahead of her. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves on this, but the outpouring of the community, not so much in the last week, but when Audrey nominated her for Teacher of the Year, was amazing. My daughter, your two daughters, probably, Jim, your daughter, she have Mrs. Simmons?
She did.
Talked the same way our kids did, I'll bet. That she was an amazing woman, and it's a terrible loss. And maybe it's the wrong way to discuss it, but I'd like to have a discussion, if not a resolution, on the next meeting as to whether or not it would be appropriate. I'll draft something up so that if we feel it's appropriate at that point to have a resolution, we would have one. But it doesn't have to happen at the next meeting, but I would like to have at least a discussion about it at the next meeting.
Okay, I think it's something that we should all think about and then discuss. She's an absolutely beloved teacher and contributed a lot to the organization. Does anyone else have any other items? Then with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mike to first discuss the Clay Target Shooting Club.
Yeah, so I just wanted to give it an opportunity for just a little bit of an update. Last spring when we started to discuss this, we had a little conversation over the summer about it. We were looking at a fall start, but given where we're at with everything, we are not looking to join the league for the fall, but we are getting ourselves in position to be able to go for the springtime. There were some questions in regards to where we were at with certain things. There was some consideration or some concern around lead-based shot. It's being used, but it's not, shots aren't being over water. They do have a company that comes in and takes care of the lead that is used. So I wanted to give the board an opportunity, you know, some questions went out. I answered some of them in a board update. If there were any other thoughts, concerns, questions around target shooting.
Mike, if the lead shot issue is a genuine concern, steel shot is just as good. Well, except for the lubricating factor, that's why they use lead, but I don't think we could put in a part of the proposal or package or rules that we're only going to use steel shot. As an environmental concern, I think that's appropriate. I don't know the cost difference anymore, but I know that if students are going to expand beyond the competition and go into waterfowl,
National our insurance coverage. It's covered by our insurance companies as well.
Okay, I mean, so I understand. So the board wouldn't vote to approve or not approve the club. We would vote if the coach receives a stipend to provide the stipend.
Correct. Yep.
And so the insurance covers. So the insurance covers it already. If we have a club, there won't be a boost, the bump to the premium.
Correct.
And there's no other change to the insurance that would be needed.
No, we're covered, like we do archery and things like that in gym class. Those things are all, it's a comprehensive coverage.
Okay. And one more question. I think I remember getting this information before. Right now, I don't remember it. But I assume if the club starts and there's a competition, students won't be able to, for example, bring the gun in a car, leave it in the parking lot, and then go to the competition. So I remember being told how it would work. I don't remember now though how our guns transported or stored, so that they don't have to come onto the campus at any time. I mean, transported and stored like on a day of competition.
Yes, firearms are still forbidden on school property. So they're either going to be locked in at the club or they're brought by their parents to the range where they do their shooting. So there will be no guns or weapons on school property.
One more question. So if you start in the spring, will there be another update before we're presented with assuming that it goes forward, between now and having an agenda item at a future board meeting where there's a stipend for the coach? Do you anticipate any further update or discussion of this before it goes forward? Or even let me take a step back. I think it would be helpful at least to have like a short update, knowing that you're on track for spring, if that's the plan, and just a quick like 2-minute overview of, again, how we'll actually work as a club sport here.
Sure, we could arrange that.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Duncan, did you have a question? No. Mike, I just had 2 brief comments. Do we have a sense of how many students would be interested? That may be something that we would know once school starts.
I'd have to check. I'm not sure what the number is at right now.
And the other question just pertains to liability. Will members of the club be signing waiver of liability or some type of document that I would think that we might want to talk to Jeff? I'm assuming that the organization probably has paperwork. I'm looking at you because you were familiar with the organization, Dave. But I think that may be something we just need to stay on top of. That would be my only comment.
Yeah, we checked with Jeff about waivers of liability and things like that. And from the school districts that he's seen, the research he's done, they haven't used them. They're not really worth much as far as students and things go, as far as actually covering liability for negligence. The training that goes, the people who are participating as coaches and as sponsors that they go through, I believe, print off a certification that they are able to do that. But as far as I know, and maybe Dave, you know a little bit more as far as the waivers and liability goes from the club's perspective.
Again, I will refer the board to the website for the club because it's comprehensive. It explains all this. The one thing that I really appreciate is they have a zero tolerance for any of this, any inappropriate action. And I don't think that there's another sport that would say that we have a zero tolerance for any kind of misbehavior. An issue arises, you're gone. My understanding of their rules, and I would certainly hope that that's held to. The only thing I was going to comment, Mike, was I'm not sure. I plead that you ask again, referencing what Jay said about board approval. I don't know if there is another club, and we voted on clubs before. So I don't know. I don't know if there's an organization that would carry our banner or our name that the school board didn't have some approval of our participation in it. I may be wrong on that, but.
Yeah, I'll check. As far as I know, there hasn't been any other club that is sponsored by Greenville that has had board approval on adoption. But I'll check on that.
Okay.
I'd like to have one follow-up on the waiver of liability. I understand that they're not foolproof and that they're not going to protect us strictly against everything. However, are they still needed if there's an accident where there's an assumed negligence, but just an accident happens? Are they at least useful for that? So in other words, more concisely, understanding that they're not foolproof, are they still useful for some limited purpose?
I can have Jeff speak to that. Yep, because Jeff will be here September 19th. So I can have him kind of update the board as far as the waiver of liability goes.
Okay, thanks.
And I guess one last comment is, Dave, you had mentioned a zero tolerance. Do we need to modify the athletic handbook? Because the athletic handbook doesn't talk about zero tolerance. It talks about first infraction, second infraction, third, and fourth. So does there need to be a carve out?
I will say that this is outside of the athletic.
Yeah.
It's not part of Section 2. It's not part of Troon Conference. It is purely a club. It's not tied to athletics. No.
Okay, all right,
I think it's
Not
on par
yet.
with a knitting club. I mean, it's gonna be just an activity.
We starting that too?
All right.
But then
They'll
that
be
brings
needing-
up code of
need a
conduct.
waiver.
So that, because code of conduct is not zero tolerance. So if it is a club, then zero tolerance for a specific club needs to be reflected in that. So just things to think about, but I would hate to have someone, a parent, come to us and say, no, according to this, it's not zero tolerance, and then we're kind of caught. So I just want to be very upfront about what our expectations are, and I support it. I think it's wonderful to establish the guidelines up front. So, any other thoughts or comments? Eric, you look perplexed. Are you still thinking about knitting?
I am. I'm thinking about knitting. I'm good.
All right.
Knit one, purl two. Eric.
Yeah, I always end up adding and dropping stitches, so my scarves are crooked.
Anne taught my daughter how to knit. I'm going to move us on then to the Greene County School Board meetings, and again ask Mike Bennett to update us.
Yeah, so Randy Squires, superintendent at Coxsackie Athens, had reached out and asked if school boards within Greene County would be interested in once again getting together as a group to discuss county concerns, invite politicians, talk about potentially legal problems that districts may be having, and just really kind of get a brain trust of school board members together to talk about some potentially common topics. So there seems to be some interest in reviving this. Apparently this was done a few years back and stopped with COVID. The idea would be it would rotate around 2 different schools. It would happen quarterly, if that, and just provide an opportunity for school board members to kind of bounce ideas and discuss different topics off each other. Yes, Duncan?
I think I still am. I was the rep, and I think I still am, based on the things we did at the organizational meeting. Beyond just some of these other topics, we'd have people from Columbia Green. We'd have people in from the New Visions to come in and talk about the programs, so they could get a better bang for their buck. There was at least, as far as I can remember, every school was represented. Maybe one up in the mountain wasn't, but I'm pretty sure even the mountain was there. Okay, so we had those kind of things that went beyond like legal issues, and and it did stop because of COVID. That was the thing, and I think we may have hosted the last one that was held, and usually when they do it, the hosting district makes available, I don't want to call it a dinner, but, well, it is. I think it was more like a dinner than just snacks. I was going to say snacks and whatever, but it was more a dinner. It was like ziti and that kind of stuff. So I think it was a good idea. I know I learned a lot from some of the presentations, and it would be easier perhaps to get a congressional rep here. We've had them in the past, but when they have to come to multiple schools, if we reach out early enough, we can probably get on that agenda. So I think it's a good idea, and I'd like to see it started again.
So if the board is accepting of that, I can let Randy know that Greenville would be interested in participating in that with the other Greene County schools.
And I think one of the things that was recently in the news that there's going to be a speculation or that a second fab going in up in Malta, as well as the nanotechnology, looking at expanding the number of jobs by being kind of a center, a hub. And as those organizations bring in additional employees and so forth, then we keep talking about, hey, what can Greene County do to wave our hand and say, look south? and consider us, which benefits the school because then we could pick up enrollment for that. So one of the topics that we may want to consider would be, as a county, how could we position ourselves, who do we even talk to get on the radar of both of those organizations that several weeks ago talked about expanding and bringing in significant increases for employees. So that was one topic that I was thinking of.
Go ahead, sir.
Please.
No, I insist.
Flip a coin.
Just quickly, I think it's a good idea. Not to volunteer Duncan for more work if that's what it'll be, but I think it's a good idea regardless. And I like
Got a nomination?
that. I like your idea too, Tracy, of that potential time, because I think some of that development also potentially will happen down here and not all towards Malta. So if there is a broader opportunity to find out how we can better prepare our students for careers there or connect them sooner with jobs or internships. I realize that this collaboration is much broader than that, but I like that angle too. So that's good.
So Dave, you were going to say?
Yeah, I was just gonna remind Duncan that we were the last ones to host it here. And I think he actually, what's your title again, Duncan? You're a lord or a?
No, I'm just a representative.
No, remember your daughter got you a knighthood or something? Anyway,
Oh.
I digress. I never forget things.
You son of a gun. I was trying not to lord over Mike, but if you were gonna make me do it,
Yeah.
okay. Mike's gonna have to bow and scrape like everybody else.
One of my initiatives on the Questar board is to get that board to hold a meeting at all of the sites. It will take a while that Questar has. And I would think that this board might be interested in the one that they're progressing with in Durham, although they run into some snags. And also New Visions, or any of them that we visit. I'll certainly invite you folks to if you have nothing better to do.
Thank you, absolutely. I personally would appreciate it, and there's always something. If there's anything else, if there's nothing else I should say, then I'm going to move us to the closing open forum, which please note the same guidelines applies as stated during the first open forum. Is there anyone that would like to speak? All right, I don't see anyone. So with that, may I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Eric and Dave.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.